Hello and welcome to Case Management 200, how to complete a case plan, enter client notes, incidents, file attachments, and utilize ResourcePoint. I'm your trainer, HMIS System Lead, Trisha Cano. During this training, we will go over how to create goals and mark them as achieved, how to enter client notes in two different ways, depending on your agency's workflow, how to create an incident on a client, and how to upload a file to a client's record, such as a copy of their birth certificate. We will also give a brief demonstration on the ResourcePoint module and the 211 Arizona website for finding resources for your client's unmet needs. Please note that if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at the HMIS Help Desk via email at hmissupport@cir.org or by phone or text at 602-908-3605. Thank you, and let's get started with how to create an electronic case plan or service plan for your client in HMIS. After logging into the system, you should get into Enter Data As mode if necessary for your workflow. In this case, I will. And you should also get into Backdate mode if necessary if your goal was decided on for your client a few days ago. So in this case, for training purposes, I'm going to backdate to March 1st. March 1st. Set backdate. Alright, then you would locate your client in ServicePoint by using the Client Point module from the menu, and you can look for them by their name or their client ID number. And this is just a test client today. Before actually creating the case plan, we suggest that you set yourself up as their active case manager. You can do this by going to the Case Managers tab on the client record. Click on it. Once you're on this tab, just click the button Add Case Manager to add yourself. Once this opens, go to Type and choose the radial button next to the word Me. This will fill in your information as we have it set up on your user account in HMIS. If something happens to be incorrect or missing, please notify us at the HMIS Help Desk and we will correct it as soon as possible. Click Add Case Manager to add yourself as this client's active case manager. Please note that whenever your client exits your project, or if for some reason there is a transfer of case managers, you should end your active status as this client's case manager. You can do this by editing your case manager click the Edit Case Manager pencil icon and put an end date for when either the client left your project or when there was a transfer. Now let's actually add the case plan. Go to the Case Plans tab and click on it. And then you would just click Add Goal to add all the things that they're going to work on. You do have to add each goal in separately, but adding goals is fairly simple. So I'm going to click Add Goal. You'll notice at the top of the page, if you work with families, that the whole family grouping is listed. This is where if more than one person had the same goal, you could click their name, though usually goals are pretty specific per person and it's usually not used. So first I'm going to ensure that my provider is correct. I'm going to choose the case manager, in this case HMIS trainer. The reason my name is on this list is because I set myself up as their active case manager. If I did not do that beforehand, when I clicked on this drop down, my name would not be on the list. However, this is not a required field, and if you don't use it, you can still add a goal. The date my goal was set, and then classification. This is the general topic of goal that you're going to add. So you do the drop-down list and choose what is the general name of the goal that I am adding on my client. For this demonstration, I'm going to say housing. Once you choose a general classification, The system will then populate the types below, and the type is a more specific example of the general goal. So in this case, housing, but then to be more specific, it's achieve housing stability, or maintain the housing stability I have, or obtain emergency shelter, or obtain a transitional housing, etc. So in this case, I'm going to say maintain my housing stability. Underneath type, you have goal description. This is where you can be even more detailed about the goal the client is working on. This is an optional feature and you do not have to fill it out. Under goal description is the optional feature of target date. If your client has a specific timeline that they need to complete the goal by, you could put a target date in here. Under target date is overall status. This is required. So since we're just starting the goal today, I'm going to say this goal is in progress. Then go down to the bottom right and click Add Goal. Now you're not done yet. Once you click Add Goal, it just expands the window and it gives you some more options. You have case notes, action steps, and services. I'm going to demonstrate case notes in just a second. Action steps are where you can add little baby steps, small steps that help your client reach that big goal. This is optional. You do not have to use it. And the service items area is not used. So go back up and let's add a case note. Okay, keep in mind that when you're adding a case note, this is a case note that is tied to this particular goal of housing. So if I wanted to add a note about housing, I would click Add Case Note, ensure the provider is correct, and the name of the case manager who's writing the note. In this case, again, it has my name on the list because I added myself as the case manager. If you are going to use the case note feature within case plans, I highly suggest that you set yourself up as the case manager on the case manager tab ahead of time so that your name can be associated with this note. Ensure the date is correct and then just type in the body of your note here. Whoops. Please be mindful that what you are typing and which client you are on. Once you save a case note, it cannot ever be edited for mistakes. It cannot even be deleted unless you delete the whole goal and start over. For this reason, many agencies opt not to use this feature to record their client notes, and I'll show you another option soon which can be edited. Once you're sure this note is perfect, then click Save Case Note. If for some reason, no matter how careful you were, you make a mistake, just create another note explaining the mistake in the previous note. Scroll to the bottom and click Save and Exit. If you needed to add another note to this record, you can just edit open the goal and click Add Case Note again. You can add as many case notes as you want to each goal. Now let's add one more goal for practice. Plus I want to show you how to use the follow-up feature. Click on Add Goal again. Choose the case manager. And this time for classification, I'm going to use identification. And I'm going to say the type of identification my client needs to obtain is a driver's license. And I'm going to say that I've given them 2 weeks to obtain this goal. So I'm going to set a date of 2 weeks out. The overall status again is going to be in progress because we're just setting it up. And now I'm going to show you the follow-up feature. This is inside this square on the goal. Like I stated before, this is completely optional. You don't have to use this. But if you want to, using this feature will give you a reminder on your HMIS homepage of things you want to follow up on with this client. So I'm going to say in 2 weeks, I want to follow up with this client to make sure they actually went and got their driver's license. Click Add Goal, scroll to the bottom, click Save and Exit. And now we have 2 goals. Once the client's case plan is complete, if for some reason you needed to print it out or you even needed their signature on it, you can do so by using this Print Case Plan button in the bottom left corner. You can choose what you want the printed out version to have. All case plans ever or just within a certain date range. Do you want to include closed goals as well as active goals? Do you want to include action steps, yes or no? And do you want to include a signature line, yes or no? Okay, now if we go back to the home page, I will show you how that follow-up we created has a reminder now. So this is my reminder on my home page that I have something I need to follow up on. In this case, even though we're in backdate mode, the computer knows that it's past the date of 3/15, so it's telling me my follow-up is past due. If it wasn't past due, it would just count down for you by days how much time you have remaining to follow up. Okay, if I get out of backdate mode, now I will show you not only how to get this follow-up off of your list, but how to close a goal that's already been achieved. Under Client ID number, you can click on this and it will take you directly to the client's record. Or, if you click on goal, it will take you directly to the goal that was associated with this follow-up, in this case, identification. Clicking on this goal takes me exactly where I need to be, to the identification goal. Since my client achieved their goal of obtaining a driver's license, I can go ahead and close this. You should always close a goal that's been achieved or that's been abandoned by the client. So I'm going to go down to overall status and I'm going to change it from in progress to closed. Once I close it, I need to choose an outcome. So my outcome is going to be achieved. You can see there are other options on here for different scenarios. To the right of achieved, I will put the date that the goal was achieved. And then underneath here in my follow-up section, I want to turn this off as well. So under follow-up made, I'm going to choose yes. Just choosing yes and saving will take it off your list. However, if you want, you can put more information, such as the day that the follow-up was actually completed and that they achieved it. Then click Save and Exit. So now you can see I have two different kinds of goals, one that's been closed and achieved, and one that's still in progress. And if I go back to my home page, you can see that my reminder has gone away. Now I'm going to show you the other option for adding client notes in HMIS. Let's go back to our client using last viewed. Make sure you are on the client profile and scroll down. AZ Client Notes is usually located right underneath the client demographics. You may see another sub-assessment underneath AZ Client Notes called Regular Client Notes. Please do not use this feature unless directed to by your supervisor. For agencies that use AZ Client Notes, it's usually located on the Client Profile tab, but occasionally it is not. If you do not see AZ Client Notes on the Client Profile tab, then it will be located on the Assessment tab all the way over here on the right. Click on Assessment and there's AZ Client Notes. Don't get confused if you see it in both places like we just did. It is set up like that for some agencies. It's on the Assessment tab or the Client Profile tab, but either location it is the same sub-assessment and it will work. Alright, let's add an AZ Client Note. Click the Add button on the sub-assessment and it will open up the note. And I'm going to go through how to fill this in because some features are optional and some are necessary. Ensure that the date seen is correct, and if not, please change it. Where it says Staff Documenting Note, it is very important that you type your name here. Don't be fooled by this giant box. It really is just for your name. Be sure that you type your name the same way every time and that you fill in your full first and last name. No nicknames. Don't change the way you type your name. This is very important for reporting purposes. If you type your name different, if you say John one day and then Jonathan the next day, it will skew case manager reports. Number of adults seen and number of children seen are optional. They are not required for reporting. However, check with your case manager to see, with your supervisor, to see if they want you to fill this in. Number of minutes is required. Please fill in the number of minutes that you met with your client using 15-minute increments. Round up to 15 minutes. So for instance, if you met for 7 or 8 minutes, please put 15. If you met with your client for 39 minutes, put 45. The type of client contact is optional, but the type of case note is not. You should always choose what type of case note this is. There are many options to choose from. You should get with your supervisor to see which one they want you to use. For training today, I'm just going to say it's a case management note. Location is optional. Then in the body of the note, just type what happened. So I'm just going to do my test here. Once the note is complete, go ahead and click Save. Once you save it, your note will show in the preview pane of the AZ Client Notes. You can click Add and add as many notes as you want over time. Please note that AZ Client Notes has an edit pencil. This means you can open the note back up and make any edits you may need to do for correcting. This is also how you can print the note. Once you save it and open it back up, a new button becomes available down here in the bottom left-hand corner, Print Record Set. This is if you need to print the note and put it in a paper file. You can also delete a note if you accidentally put it on the wrong client. Now let's move down to file attachments. File attachments is always also located on the Client Profile tab. This can be used if you need to attach an important document to the client record, such as a copy of their identification, birth certificate, any evaluations done, or releases of information from another agency. This is the main location for scanning and attaching those documents. Click the Add New File Attachment button, and then use the Choose File button to browse your windows and find the document that you're looking for. Once you find that document, double-click on it, and now you'll see it listed right next to Choose File. Then, to actually upload it up into HMIS, click the Upload button. Once it's done, you will see it listed in the File Attachments preview pane. If your agency uploads lots of documents, we suggest that you come up with a template way of naming them so it's easy to find later. If for some reason you need to print this document back out again for the client in the future, just locate the document that needs to be printed, click on the Edit pencil to open it back up, and then download the document for printing. Next, we'll talk about incidents, also on the Client Profile tab. Incidents can be used for various reasons. Some agencies use it to document when a client has been non-compliant with guidelines, and they want to be sure that all staff members are on the same page. Some use it when a client might be restricted from a certain activity or location at the facility due to not following guidelines. Some use it to document when a client has been asked to leave and not return to a project due to violent behavior. And finally, some use it just to document that a client has exhausted their stay during a certain time frame and cannot return until the next cycle. So you would click Add New Incident, ensure the provider is correct, and then choose the start date of the incident. You can click the calendar with the green check mark to make it start today. You can use end date if this is a temporary incident. For instance, let's say a client was banned from the laundry facilities at your project for a month. You could put a date of 1 month out, and that would show that their incident only was for 1 month. Otherwise, you would just leave it open. Choose what kind of incident it was. Was it non-compliance? Was it violent behavior? What was going on? Incident codes is just a bunch of numbers. There is no HMIS definition for what these codes mean. You do not have to use them, and if you do want to use them, your agency can decide what each code means. You can ban someone, yes or no. You do not have to use this feature. This is usually when you're banning them from your site due to violent behavior. And then the name of the staff person who is documenting the incident. Again, please be sure to use your full first and last name. Here you could specify exactly which sites or areas that they have been banned from, and then any other additional notes that you think someone should know about this incident. Once everything is complete, just click Save. And now you have an incident that everyone in your project who has access to HMIS can see what's going on. Now let's talk about the ResourcePoint module and 211 Arizona. So look at your menu on the left and click on ResourcePoint. This will open up the database to ResourcePoint, and you can search for providers by keywords or by their name. We suggest you use the Showed Advanced Options button for refining your search because this database incorporates the entire state of Arizona. I'm going to show you a few examples today of how to use ResourcePoint. So for this first example, let's say I'm looking for a food bank in Peoria, Arizona for my client. So in my search field, I'm going to use the keyword of food bank. And then I want to refine my search by Peoria, Arizona. Then click the search button. And I got 8 returns for food banks near or around Peoria, Arizona. You can click on the name of the agency if you're not sure what they do. So for instance, I'm not sure what this place does or where they're located. So I can say show full profile, and it'll give me a description and what the basic services they provide are, where they're located, a map to their address, if they have a website, hours of operation, and eligibility if it applies, that I can then share with my client if needed. Let's do another example. Let's say I know exactly what my client needs, where they need to go, I'm just not sure where it's located. So for this example, I'm going to say my client needs to get a new license at the Motor Vehicle Division. So I'm going to type in Motor Vehicle Division, search. And I got Arizona Department of Motor Vehicle Division. Just one hit in Phoenix, Arizona. So what I could do is I could click on it and open it up. And it only shows the main location. But if I wanted to know, say, other locations that may be closer to my client, I can always use this link to the actual Arizona Department of Motor Vehicles website to get other locations from. Now, for this last example, let's say I know where I want to refer my client. Like, I know what they need. I know where I want to send them, but I'm not sure how to spell the name of the agency. So let's say I want to refer my client to Taros for mental health, but I'm not sure how to spell Taros. What I could do is in my keyword search, I could put mental health evaluation and do a search. And oh my goodness, I have quite a few to look at. So then I can narrow it down by using this alphabet refinement tool up here on the top. So I can click, I know Taros starts with a T, I'm just not sure how to spell it. So I can click on the T for Taros, and there they are, right there. Taros Mental Health Services, and I can choose the location that I'm looking for. Be sure when you're done, after using the letter refinement, to switch it back to the all button so that you get them all if you needed to search for additional things. And now I will show you the 211 Arizona website. Like I said, it's pretty much the same database, but it has a different interface that some people prefer. So just type in 211arizona.org and you'll get the 211 Arizona website. And let's look for the same things. So like earlier, my first example was I had a client who needed a food box in Peoria. So I'll go to the icon food meals and say food boxes. And it's going to search for food boxes, but it searched for food boxes in the entire state of Arizona. And I don't want to have to search through almost 200 results. So I'm going to refine my search. So I'm going to say areas served. And I'm going to choose Peoria and then update my results. Okay, once your computer thinks about that for a moment, it'll give you new results. Now we went from 200, almost 200 to 13, which is much easier to manage. So I could choose from this list some places that may provide a food box for my client. And look, there's ICM Food and Clothing Bank again. Let's open it up just like in ResourcePoint. If you click on the name of the agency, you can get more detailed information, their address, their website, their hours of operation, any eligibility criteria, etc. So I'm going to go back to the main 211 Arizona site by clicking on the icon. And next, let's look for the Arizona Motor Vehicle Division. So this time I'm just going to say, like, I know exactly what I need to look for. I don't even need to use the very easy to use icons. I'm going to go up here, down here to the bottom, and just type in Motor Vehicle Division. And then click Search. And there it is, the first thing, Arizona Department of Transportation, Motor Vehicle Division, and then I can click on it and it will open up and give me that same information, the main location and their website. There it goes. Hours of operation, things like that. Go back to the main 211 Arizona webpage. And now let's do the final one where I was looking for Taros. Now this doesn't have the find something by the first letter, but in this case I'm going to say I know I want to refer someone, they need some help with substance abuse. So I find substance abuse, and let's say they need counseling. And then I could look through here and find Taros. And I know it's the letter T, which is pretty late in the alphabet, so I just jump to the last page here, and there it is. I can get information on how to contact Taros, or my client could do it themselves. The last thing I would like to show you today is how to easily locate resources in another state if your client wants to relocate. Instead of using the local 211 Arizona website, you can go to the main 211 website, which is www.211.org. And here's where you can search for local 211 agencies in the area where your client wants to relocate. You should search by zip code or city and state. It's been our experience that city doesn't work too well, so we suggest using zip code. So for this example, let's say the client wants to relocate to Los Angeles, California. So I'm going to type in a local Los Angeles, California zip code and the state of California, and then click search. When you do this, it'll open up the local 211 agency. You can click more to get alternate phone numbers. If you or your client called one of these numbers, it would connect you with the 211 system in Los Angeles, California. You can also click on this little arrow and it'll take you to their website. This completes Case Management 200 training today, so let's go over a summary. Number 1, the Case Plans tab is where you can enter goals for your client and create an electronic case plan or service plan. Number 2, you can use the follow-up section when creating or updating goals to create a reminder for yourself on your HMIS homepage. This is an optional feature. Number 3, goals should be updated to closed and then set as achieved, partially achieved, or abandoned whenever a client either achieves the goal or exits your project. Number 4, there are 2 common methods for entering client notes in ServicePoint, either case notes within the goal or AZ client notes subassessment. Please check with your supervisor to determine which method your project uses. Number 5, to attach a document electronically to a client's file in ServicePoint via File Attachments, click the Upload button after browsing for the document in Windows. And number 6, incidents can be used to document a client's non-compliance, a ban from a particular location within the facility or the project or site itself, as well as an exhaustion of stay for a certain time period. By following these steps and working through the examples, you have completed training on Case Management 200, how to complete a case plan, enter client notes, incidents, file attachments, and how to use ResourcePoint as well as 211 Arizona. As a reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at the HMIS Help Desk via email at hmissupport@cir.org or by phone or text at 602-908-3605. Thank you, and please refer back to your training confirmation email for further instructions.